Right, we don't have Brooke on the show. We're okay.
Good evening, everybody. Welcome to Lethal Sales. Thank you all for being here. Our topic tonight is employee retention, and I know we have a couple of specialists in that department. But Larry, if you want to get started.
Sure. The interesting thing was Peter's idea was to talk about customer retention because it's one of his specialties by keeping people in line. And I, of course, like Frost, like to take the path less traveled, and that has made all the difference. So I said, why don't we combine it and let's talk about what inspires us individually and what inspires our people? Because if we can keep people inspired and feeling like part of a team, I think we're going to be better off. Peter, would you like to go first and tell us what inspires you, sir? And then we'll just roll through everybody. And because I think if we can figure out what inspires us and what inspires the people we're working with and for, I think retention will reveal itself.
Absolutely, Larry. Thanks for passing it to me. The very thing that inspires me is giving the wealth of knowledge that I've collected over 4 decades of being in this business to the individuals that are willing to take that learning on. That mentorship means a tremendous amount to me, and it is extremely important that pushing it forward to our next generations of people within this industry, but doing it in the right way. And that's something that Brian and I have talked many times about, and I'd love to hear Brian's thoughts on this.
So I jump to, I mean, a lot of the, for me, it's easier just to kind of jump to, and I've all heard this, Simon Sinek's, your why statement. So my why statement is to inspire and empower organizations in creating exceptional human experiences, right? And so that's really when it comes to, and how you do that is really a culture that's based upon, optimism and problem solving, humility, being creative, innovative, influential, impactful are words that I kind of use that I think ultimately creates those types of environments where we have retention, and that inspires me to help organizations create the systems and the processes and the mindsets that ultimately encourage that.
Okay, that was way too many words for my friend Brian and from my friend Peter Smith. Listen, I'm going to skip all the bull tonight. We actually have Tony Teague joining us. Tony,
yay, Tony!
Yeah, Tony, for anybody who doesn't know, Tony's been in the witness protection program when it comes to tuning into my show. Doesn't want anybody to know where he is, get involved. So here's the deal, okay? I am a true lunatic. I admit it. I concede to it, but I read a lot. And I'll tell you, I can tell you, I'm going to give you my inspiration in a whole lot less words. I'm inspired by great people that have come before us, who history no longer seems to respect. Like, it blows my mind that they're tearing down statues of Winston Churchill in England and Abraham Lincoln here. Makes no damn sense. So rather than go backwards, sideways, negative, or talk about culture, is everybody as tired as I am of hearing about culture? Screw culture. Let's get up in the morning, do what we have to do, and make it roll. So here's my homework assignment for all of you, okay? I am a poet. I mean, I do write all the songs for my band, and I'm going to tell you my all-time favorite poem. I know, Mike Larkin, you were laying awake at night worrying about my favorite. David, I don't know if you know Michael. Very sad, no life, no cable TV. He just wears funny hats and shows up.
We've talked before. Michael seems like a pretty good guy.
Yeah, but you're lonely. You hung with me and me and Ian at the show. Listen.
You seem like a good guy, and so did Ian too. So to be fair.
Yeah, and then how come you didn't have any Dan Nessie's Crunch Bars at your booth? Okay, we're hungry here. Listen, you want to get inspired. You want to skip, and don't tell me about Simon Sinek and Grant Card and all those guys. To hell with those guys. Go read my all-time favorite poem. It's called "If" by Rudyard Kipling. You all know the first line because you've heard it quoted a million times. If you can keep your head while all about you are blaming you, or, losing theirs and blaming you. So I'm going to give you I'm going to get off my soapbox and give you the last lines of that poem. It's inspired me since I read it in 5th grade. Okay. If you can fill the unforgiving minute with 60 seconds worth of distance run, Yours is the world and everything that's in it. What is more, you'll be a man, my son. I am tired of negativity. I'm tired of hearing people talk way past the subject. We are alive. Everybody in the graveyard would get up and take every one of our problems in a heartbeat. So you got to show up. You got to have some fun. You got to do your best. You got to make the people around you feel good. Before I jump to Tony T, recently escaped from the witness protection program. My compadre here is Ian Nethercott. I had more fun with him in 2 days than should be legal. And Jeff will tell me that, because not only did he have dinner with me, but I got his son arrested. It's an enlightening experience for him if he's going to be in the car business. Ian, what inspires you, my buddy?
What inspires me is helping people in the industry get better, but more importantly, showing them how they can do that. I like to interview people and learn from them, but more importantly, share that with people that can get that benefit.
Then why did you say to me last night after 10 drinks, you're glad that people suck because then they pay you to come in and train? I don't know what it is with him. I'm such an uncontroversial person. Russell Hill, what inspires you, my buddy? And by the way, Russell is my man. The guy is as loyal and dedicated as anybody you'll ever meet. And he's got a picture of John Lennon. And we all know McCartney was more talented, but like Russell, I like Lennon better.
Yeah, he was a radical.
Hey, Russell, I'm the only guy other than you that knows the songs on Sometime in New York City.
No, there's other people in here that do.
Oh, yeah? All right, Moates, name one song on, and this is the album after Imagine, when Yoko took over. Any idea? No, he doesn't know. I'm sticking with you, Russell. Moates is too busy having late-night conversations with Peter Smith. Very sad. Go ahead.
Educate, inspire, and motivate. I like finding out what people want and helping them navigate. Life is at the edge of your comfort zone. That's my mantra. I want to undercommit and overdeliver.
And he just said the magic words, comfort zone. Obliterate your damn comfort zone.
That's right.
If you lift weights till you're tired and stop, you're never going to get stronger. You got to break the muscle down to build it up. David, I'm going to jump to you because I think they said you have to have that vest and uniform back tonight, right? Go ahead. What inspires you, my buddy?
That's true. What inspires me is making it easier for my clients to do the right thing. And whether that's handle a customer or whether that's appreciate an employee, just making it easy, because they've got too many things going on right now, and they don't have time to do the right thing a lot of times.
All right. Well, again, more magic words from my buddy. Everybody has a problem with Jeff Bezos. He's got too much money. He controls too much stuff. He put Thursday Night Football on, so you have to be a subscriber to Amazon, and he's put 1 million little stores out of business. Why is he a billionaire on top of being a billionaire? He made it easy. He's a living Staples button. I love it. Make things easier. Harry, what inspires you, my buddy? Harry, it's that little button that says mute. You want to hit it now, take it off. Okay, we'll come back to Harry. Rachel, I had the pleasure of meeting in a SodaCon. We share the same sense of mental stability, which is none, but she brings the energy every day. What inspires you every day to be you, to be your best, and motivate the people around you?
That's a good question. I think, I like to be creative. I don't want to be told no, or you can't, or we don't do it that way. And so just having the freedom to try new things and maybe make a mistake or fail, and then ultimately getting to the result of solving the problem.
Well, here's the beauty of what she just said. She just said she likes having the freedom. The scary part is we all have the freedom to make mistakes, but a lot of us, I'm non-biological. A lot of us don't have the balls to do it. Okay.
I was like personal references. I don't even know what's put down. I was put down as people.
Kelly, is that you? Who just said that?
Kelly.
You might want to mute everybody else.
No, I like everybody to talk at the same damn time. This is America, despite what they tell you.
Damn it.
Kelly, can you talk, or are you wrestling with your parakeet right now?
Just having a fight with the parakeet.
All right, we'll come back to Kelly. Tony, it is such a pleasure to see you, my buddy. There she is. Kelly's back. Or she's on the phone. Can you talk, Kelly, or are you on the phone?
I am back.
Okay, we're going to jump to Tony T in a minute. You're going to be his opening act. What inspires you? What motivates you? What pushes you and helps the people around you be better?
You're on mute, Kelly.
I don't know where she went.
She's
She's
talking.
there.
I think the aliens have grabbed Kelly Wilson. Somebody's going to have to babysit
Okay,
the
I think we're back now.
Okay, you're back.
You
now.
are.
No.
I had it muted on my computer, but not on the screen, and it got all mixed up. Anyway, what inspires me, what motivates me would be helping others. I like to see everyone have progress, to be comfortable, but not too comfortable, as we were just talking about, and to provide whatever I can to push people forward to the next step, for them to help find what makes them comfortable and then help drive them past that towards their goals.
But keep in mind, the person you have to help before you can help anybody else is yourself. One of the great lessons we learn is on an airplane when the stewardess says, God forbid, if the air mask drop and you're with an infant, put it on your face, because if you can't help yourself, you can't help anybody else.
That's right.
Love it. I love it. I see April. Tony, we'll get to you in just a second, my buddy. You haven't been on a while. The suspense is building. Go ahead, April. What motivates you to be you? And it's such a pleasure to see you.
Hey guys, happy November, everyone.
Yeah,
All right,
is.
question is, what motivates me? I would say problem solving. I think that, to me, those are, and that's whether we're talking work or personal. Anytime,
April, are you moving around? Or is there an earthquake? I just want to make sure, because we're trying to get as much visual stimulation as we can.
Well, you know what happened is my earbuds died. And so I realized that, as loud as I am, if we all know April is a loud person, I'll keep my whole office up. So I had to go shut my door so I didn't.
Who cares if you're loud? When you've got something to say, I want to hear you. So problem solving. Do we all agree that if you get thwarted the first time you hear no and you don't like that challenge, you're not a salesperson? I mean, there's plenty of other lines of work, but
Agreed.
What's cooler than when you turn a no and do a yes? Zach, I'm the only musician you'll ever meet that don't get high, and never did. Because I found out a long time ago, the greatest high isn't crack or some of this other nonsense. It's when people say yes. It never gets old. I've owned my damn company for 11 years. I was #2 in the country for Cadillac. I took my dealership from the bottom to the top. When somebody hires me, I still jump up and down and go, wow, that's terrific. What problems have you solved recently that really made you think, boy, am I glad I'm here? I'm glad I could be a part of the process.
I think that there's two sides of the coin when we talk about problems. There's the human side, and then there's the functional, computer side or problem side or operation side, right? And for me, the greatest thing that I get to do is when I get to bring those two things together. Because sometimes the problem is the people, and sometimes the problem is the product. And so right now, I'm really, and you guys know this, I've been hot and heavy about it for a while, but having these conversations about service scheduling and capacity and different things with the service department, which for me is super fun because, it's one area of the business that I haven't really been overly involved in my 27 years. So it's like a new challenge, right? New baby.
Yeah.
So I'm having fun learning stuff that maybe I haven't been a part of before. And one of the things that I realized is that people are so quick to want to make changes because they think that's what they need to affect a different result. And they want to mirror what somebody else is doing. They look at what someone else is doing and say, well, that's what we should be doing. But you're comparing apples and oranges and not really looking at all the spider webs. So right now I'm right in the middle of looking at all these spider webs at one of my stores and saying, hey, wait a minute, before you guys go jump off a cliff, change everything that you've got going on. We need to look at how this is going to actually work, because there's a lot of problems that they still have where they're going to get stop blocked through this process. And you're going to tell your advisors, hey, you guys need to give better service and have better attitudes and do all these things. But my question always is, well, why do they have a bad attitude to begin with?
That's right.
Why are
Well,
they frustrated to begin with?
You know
So
what's
then
funny?
you start,
April, let me just throw this in because I'm drinking your Kool-Aid. I was on David Long's Fixed Op show on Monday. Michael Barrich, who I love to death, spoke. Everybody had a great solution. I think his topic was, how do we, fix our future? And I
Right.
said, we do it by going back to the beginning. Because if the salespeople would make it as much of a routine as anything else to take a service walk and say, hey, this is Joe. He's going to be working on your car if you're lucky enough to earn your business. Hey, by the way, let me help you make as many service appointments as possible. We don't lose them. But there's such a wall between fixed stops and variable. And listen, I'm more variable than fixed, but boy, are we dumb in variable. Because by ignoring the fixed stops, we don't get the chance to sell them a second car. We lose all the attendant business. So go ahead, April. I didn't mean to interrupt you, but a lot of times it's just a matter of looking back. And I hate to say root cause because I think of Kamala Harris and I get nauseous. But sometimes we need to look back at the root cause and say, what the hell are we doing? Go ahead.
Well,
and listen, I'm sorry to interrupt. It's Ian Nethercott. He keeps digging me in my ribs. Interrupt.
Ian, knock it off, Ian.
These Canadians, they're pushy.
but Larry, we have to look at all the different challenges and store by store, person by person, product by product. So I'll give you a perfect example. We want to create long-term relationships in service to go along with exactly what you talked about on Monday, exactly what, I always believe as well, that, variable and fixed are one and the same. If we create relationships and we create long-term, all these things, but I want you to think about the things that are being blockades that are being put in front of both sales and service that are stopping people from hitting the finish line. I'll give you a perfect example. So we're working on this scheduler situation, trying to figure out ways to maximize for the advisors and the techs, right? Knowing that we have to deal with all these engines sitting around, special order parts, right? All these different variables. And then you have something like an OEM that puts in a mandate that says that you only get money from the factory if you have appointments under 5 days. So we go back to, hey, I'm going to set your first service appointment when I sell you the car. When you're leaving, I'm going to set your next one as an advisor. So I make sure that we keep that relationship going. And the OEM is saying, absolutely not. Absolutely not. You have to only have appointments no more than 5 days out, maximum 5 days out. So you start throwing some of these, what I call like little mini bombs into processes, and we wonder why people are frustrated. And so in theory, we should be able to say, hey, treat people nicer. Hey, do these things. But what little bombs are they trying to jump over all day that make the job to give customers better customer service that much more difficult?
Right.
That's why sales service meetings and tying your whole team together is vital, because the OEM should be our greatest supporter because they need us to push their product, and they often seem to be our worst enemy. My rep had one answer all the time: take more cars. I can't sell the ones I have. Well, take more. That'll help. Right. Okay, no problem. I'll send you the floor plan bill. Tony, remember the old days, GM, what we used to say? Ready, fire, aim. All right. April, we're going to come back to you as usual. You were brilliant. Tony T, I don't want you to get a complex. I interrupted him 3 times. Go ahead.
I'm already complex. What are you talking about? So yeah, what drives me? 4 things: get up early, go to bed late, work hard in between. And this is a choice. Number 4, no problems.
I know, wait a minute. Russell just texted me. He has a problem because over your right shoulder, you have Led Zeppelin. The song remains the same. Why the hell don't you have Led Zeppelin 4? Because we all know that the greatest rock year of all time is 71. You had Sticky Fingers. Who's Next? Okay. You had Led Zeppelin 4. You had the Allman Brothers. Russell, you got to talk to him off the air.
Number 1 right here.
Quadrophenia.
Number 1 right here, Russell.
I love it's hard to beat Love, Rain, or Me, but man, how do you get away from Baba O'Reilly and Won't Get Fooled Again and Love Ain't for Keeping? You know what? Let's skip this car nonsense. Let's just talk music. Okay. Earlier we were explaining how somebody got impregnated. All good. Okay, Tony, I'm sorry to interrupt you.
Larry, you are the epitome of a pattern interrupt. I love it.
Hey, I'm on these damn shows and people talk for 12 minutes, don't say a damn thing. I want to have fun. I want to be loose. I
Who
appreciate
has
everything.
talked for 12 minutes here?
No, not on this show, baby. But I've seen some shows where guys talk so long. I thought if they got in a car with a serial killer, after 2 blocks, he'd say, "Here's my axe, let me out." At least I kill him quick. Go ahead, Tony.
I love it.
Yeah, so really that's what drives me is just getting up early, go to bed late, work hard in between, guys, and no problems. No problems means not that there aren't any problems. The problems are opportunities to grow you, to stretch you, to grow others, to grow your business. So when you think you got a problem, it's an opportunity. Get up early, go to bed late, work hard in between, no problems, and life will go your way.
I endorse Tony 100% because he has gathered what I teach in class. I love to say, why should you live each day like you're dying? Oh, nothing's nah, because we are dying.
I'm going to
We hope it's not
120, Larry. I'm going to
What's that?
120. I'm almost halfway there. I got 3 more years. I'm halfway there, but I'm going to
Brother,
120.
listen, they're coming out with all kinds of wonder drugs and all that, right? Right? They now think, and I'm not making this up, okay? What the hell's the thing for the sex ed thing?
Sanford?
Viagra. Viagra.
They now think Viagra can help people with senility.
That's a fact because of the blood vessels. That's right.
Right. So you're now going to have a bunch of 92-year-old guys with erections walking around forgetting where they live. This is taking a very tragic turn here. Tony's 100% right. We'll all be dead one day. Listen, I love.
We're all going to wake up. We're all going to wake up dead. I hope I meet you up there, though. So I know where I'm going when I
wake up. What do you mean up there? It's the car business. We'll all be getting a tan, okay? We'll all be there with the used car managers. Listen. Thoreau said it beautifully. Most men lead lives of quiet desperation. If you ain't happy with who you are and what you're doing, change it.
That's right.
Okay. All right. My boy, we're gonna get to everybody. Zach McVicker's here. Zach, it's a pleasure. What do you got to say? What inspires you, my buddy?
Everything around just the development and growth of people. Mindset is big when you can change somebody's mindset, I think, and getting them to see something else is possible that they may have not believed in before. Because I mean that's really what leads any type of change, in my opinion, within in business, right, and life, all of that. And so it really is just elevating people's mindsets and their belief in their ability in doing things. And so for me, that's what drives and motivates me.
And why wouldn't we want to uplift people and expand their realm of possibilities? You guys are all smart, and ladies, you know that penicillin was derived from moldy bread. How'd you like to be selling that patent? Okay. The Beatles were so impossible to get a record deal that they put them with a guy that produced comedy records, George Martin. Okay. The world's crazy. And if people can't help you, tell them to get the hell out of the way and stop impeding you from doing what you need to do. Because if you really can lift people up, you lift yourself up. It's really cool to help people.
The other thing too, Larry, is just being in Brian's presence. That's also motivating for me. And so I forgot to say.
Okay. Brian, I think he's kissing your butt. I like that. It's the Umbordian way to do it. By the way,
so I just want to stop for 1 second here, Larry. I just want to thank Zach personally for his video that he put out the other day on an article on this subject that I've been writing on LinkedIn. And I want to say I'm very, very humbled and thank you very much for the effort that you put in there, because it really, really made me speechless. Thank you.
So once again, we see even within our own industry, an act of kindness and an act of support from amongst us can lift us up. Because, we don't really know what's going through people's minds. You can see somebody smiling and happy and inside they're miserable. And the more we work to lift everybody up, the better we're going to be. Before we jump to my boy, Harry, who's hopefully figured out the mute button, I see both Wendy and Fred here. Wendy, Fred, what motivates you? What pushes you? What inspires you? You guys been around forever. Everybody loves you. What inspires you?
I'm not sure Fred's here. I'm driving back from California, unless he snuck in his truck. But thank you for that, Larry. And I came in kind of in the midst of it all. So what inspires me, I guess, is when I see people who have like passions, And when they learn new things or they have questions, and then when we coach people, and then you see them have those aha moments when they're like, oh, that's why you said that. And you can just, even if it's not in their eyes, if it's on a Zoom screen or a Google Meet or across the room, or you can even hear it in their voice.
Yes, you can.
It's getting that satisfaction when you've really helped someone else to be better than they were the day before, or to learn something that they didn't know.
Right on.
Can I personalize that if you don't mind, Wendy?
Please do, please.
I was at one of my hangouts is Gettle. They got 20 stores. I'm lucky enough to do them all. And Bill Finicaro, who used to be with Gettle Toyota, anybody in the Northeast knows him, sweetheart of a guy and a brilliant car guy. He's got me down there. I got a bunch of folks hired. While I was there, I got 3 service guys, just a great week. And I go up to the desk, and you've all had this, right? We all got pretty good memories. We're in the car business. And I'm looking at this guy, and I know this guy, the desk manager. And he says, Larry, it's so good to see you. So, of course, great to see you too. You know, who was it? It was a guy I had in a training class at Sarasota Ford 9 years ago, and now he's the GSM at the dealership.
Wow.
It made my whole damn day. It feels so good to do stuff for other people. All right, we got Durran Cage on. Durran, what inspires you, my buddy? I know you're into youth football. Right? Durran is just an all-around good guy. Youth football, his whole thing is to motivate people. And every once in a while, when John Ellis can't reach the drinking fountain, he picks him up so I can reach it. Go ahead. He's not on the call, Durran. The heck with him. Go ahead.
Oh my gosh, dude! You always put me on as soon as I log on. Hey, Wendy, that was great, and what you just shared there too, Larry, that was 100% perfection. So, probably piggybacking on that, to me, is whenever I can help make somebody's life just a little bit easier with what they're doing. So it kind of goes with what we're talking about. But so if I were to give an example, let's say maybe somebody is just a dialing for dollars kind of person. That's all they believe in, is just dialing for dollars. Well, making their life easier would be like, hey, you know what? Right after you make that phone call, why don't you send a quick picture or a quick video or something right after that to add a little something extra that will help you get more connections. And then when they do that and they have some success, but then what really gets me fired up is when that person teaches somebody else. And then that person teaches, you know what I mean? Like I saw this happen recently with Chat GPT. I did a class on how to use it and how not to use it. And one guy loved it so much, he ended up putting on a session in his dealership afterwards. So it's those kinds of things, is just seeing people pay it forward, because most of us, somebody poured into us, right? Yep. That's how most of us got here. So just paying it forward, to me, gets me all geeked up and excited just to see people just sharing information, just to see other people win, not to try to take credit themselves.
All right. Now, I don't know how well you know this. I got involved with Durran and John. They're into the BEV stuff. And I've really gotten close with Durran. I mean, we're polar opposites. I'm insane. He's stable. But would you mind, Durran, tell us, you had a turning point. Because years ago, Durran, looking back now, considered himself a little selfish and a little too money motivated. And then he had some kind of epiphany. I think you said that a dealer heard you talk to somebody and took you to task, and you looked in the mirror and said, that's not the guy I want to be. Is that correct?
Correct. Yeah, he humbled me. Let's say that. I got my learning lessons. He's humbled me, and I hadn't been the same way since, in a great way. So yes.
Russell, I got thrown by that last thing he said, that humbled me part. I've never been humbled. It's just not in my DNA. So I'm gonna have to work on that.
I'll tell you what, it's a lot easier to be humble than it is to be humbled. There's a drastic difference between the two.
Well, one thing I can, if you guys don't mind me giving you a piece of advice, take your family, your friends, and your clients more seriously than you take yourself. When we get a little too big for our own britches and we think, that one thing with me, I get away with a lot of crazy stuff because people go, the guy likes me, he's just having fun with me. But it starts with, I'll take a Russell Hill or a David or a Tony way more seriously than I take myself. It saves you a lot of aggravation because we've all seen these pompous people that think the universe revolves around them. We're coming to Jeff. Did you see that? That was Ian Nethercott pointing. Okay. It reminded me of the scene with the Christmas Carol with the ghost of Christmas to come, the skeleton creature. It's very scary. Go ahead, Jeff.
Thanks. Can you hear me? I think I unmuted correctly.
We hear
You did wonderful. By the way, Jeff's son, for any of you that think the younger generation is doomed, his son is as nice and responsible guy as you will ever meet in your life. His name is Derek. The kid works his butt off. He's responsible. He's polite. You should be proud of yourself, sir.
Yeah, thank you for that. And I had the pleasure of having dinner with my son and Larry and Ian and his wife last night. So it was a great conversation and great
That
time.
was not Ian's wife, okay? The guy's in Las Vegas. He lives in Canada. Let him have a little fun, will you?
So I think what inspires me is being able to take very, very complex technical situations and making them very simple for other people. And again, I want to do the heavy lifting. Let me worry about, and again, very much in the telecom space, but let me worry about all of the technology and stuff. And as my partner, my client, my agent, my customer, reap the results, and I'll make that as simple as I can for you. And if I can explain stuff so Larry can understand it, that's kind of my goal, from the technology space.
It took me 4 years to figure out you shut your computer off with the on button. I mean, listen, I'm a test case for rampant stupidity. Once again,
that Ian understands what I'm saying right now.
Yep. Listen, what a gift it is to appreciate the fact that if you make people's life easier, they're going to appreciate you, they're going to pay you, and you're going to feel better about yourself. Tony, April, everybody, have we all encountered this? Somebody you're trying to help or recommend or refer, you like them, and you say, tell me what you do. And 14 hours later, you still don't know what they do. I like to increase people's experience. Shut up. What do you want to do? How do you do it? And why should they hire you? So the fact that he can make it simple is awesome. Harry, did you figure out how to unmute your phone yet? Because if not, I can send Jeff over here.
Where is he?
I'm on the way.
Harry, we will, and whenever you unmute, just go in. It's just don't be rude if somebody's talking, because I can't stand people that interrupt. Okay, let's jump back here. Kelly,
Yes.
how are you doing with your job search? Everybody, she's on a million podcasts. Everybody loves her. How are you doing? Are you close to getting hired?
I've got a couple offers on the table. And I'm looking at some other options as far as additional income. So looking at some side options as well. And I actually had a conversation with Russell today, and I want to kind of marry this into the conversation about
that a proposal?
Retention and staff and culture, since you love that word so much.
All right, too many words. Listen, when next time you call Russell, put Imagine on in the background, okay? By the time you get to How Do You Sleep, Russell will figure out a way to get you hired.
So how many dealerships, when you're talking about marketing, actually do go over their numbers with fixed ops?
I think
they don't care about fixed ops. It's like the stepchild the redheaded stepchild. It's the dumbest thing on earth. April, how great is it when a manager says to a salesman, what's that guy doing? Oh, he's just here for service, boss. Hey, stupid. We sell people that are in for service. It's your easiest target.
Yeah,
I thought with April on, it would be nice to have that conversation a little bit, just because I think it helps with retention.
Well, not only that, when you
hold on, Ian speaking. He's from Canada. I think his body just unfroze. Go ahead.
not only that, I mean, what always frustrates me when you have that service and sales marketing discussion is not only would it help to have a seasonal special or weekly or monthly special in service, you might be able to tie that into sales. I mean, it always astounded me when I worked for the manufacturer and with dealers, when even the manufacturer's guy was like, wow, I don't know, like it's a tire special. That was kind of the best thing they'd come up with. I mean, there's so many opportunities if all you do is put it, have a discussion about it as a group or as a dealership and say, okay, what are we going to do for the next month? What are we going to do for the next 3 months? How are we going to do that? But more importantly, how can we tie it together? We got people coming in for service, as Larry says. Why are you not at least introducing the sales, especially if the salesman or sales manager is still there who sold the customer? You should at least be saying hi to that customer when they're in the store.
No dealership on earth should not do one of two things. One, you make the people do a service walk and an introduction. And two, if it's after hours, everybody has a team member who calls the next day and said, I hear we were honored to have your business. I'm Joe. I'm going to be taking care of any of your needs. Here's how to reach me. Here's my cell phone. How can we possibly realize that once we lose them for tires, once we lose them for oil changes, you roll down the road a little bit, we lost them for everything.
Well, yeah, especially when you got to drive past 16 non-franchise entities to get to your franchise dealer for oil change.
Yeah, I mean, we were talking to a company today that only specializes in third party. They have a very interesting software solution, but one of the best solutions I ever saw for after hours was I worked with a dealer had paper cutouts of the service writers with cards in their pockets. You could still do a service walk even if the service department was closed, but they could say, okay, here's Bobby. He's going to be your service writer. And it was basically a physical person that wasn't there, but it was a cutout. So they could actually do that even if the service department was closed.
Unfortunately, they had to cancel the program, Russell. One of the customers started dating one of the cardboard cutouts. I mean, it is Calgary.
So,
there's nothing there but snow and mooses. People get lonely.
Forgive me. I was, Kelly had a question, and apparently we went around the world without even addressing her question. Kelly, what was your question again? Or was it just a comment or observation?
Well, my question, especially with April here, is I don't think we have a ton of dealers on, but when you're dealing with your dealers, are they actually going over numbers with the fixed operations department, or does the fixed ops department not want to know? And are they like, throw an oil change and a tire special up and it'll be done?
Okay, great questions, and I'm happy to answer. So when I first started with the group and started really getting into more of the marketing stuff, and I was trying to get the fixed ops department to talk to me about specials and to talk to me about different things. Still to this day, it is really hard because fixed ops people have a tendency to believe that people just show up. We don't need to market to them. They show up. They have no other choice. They come here and that's what's going to happen. So they believe that their ad budget should literally be zero. They shouldn't spend anything. So I finally got my very first win with one of our directors. And this was when I was still just at Kia before I came to the group. And I said, here, let me show you something. All of the stuff, all the money we spend in search, for instance, 70% of it results in a service appointment being set. 70%. 80% of the website traffic on our website is going to the service pages.
That's right.
Of the phone calls that come to the dealership are for the service department. Now, let me show you what sources they all came from, and you tell me that marketing doesn't matter. And once I showed them the facts and the data, then I started getting them a little bit more involved, a little bit more of a care. However, to the point, the round the world point that everyone else just made, as odd in the industry as a whole, we've got to get past this idea of instant gratification. If we want people to care about the customer of tomorrow, we've got to get everyone under our roof to stop caring about only today. And that is where the fundamental issue is. The fixed ops guys are really busy, and they finally have gotten to a point where they're like, okay, we understand that we don't understand. I appreciate that. Yeah. Because now, at least when I say, hey, here's what I need from you, here's what I'm looking out for you, they're engaging in the conversation more, but they also understand that they don't know what they don't know. Right. And so that's the greatest thing that you can have for a fixed ops team, is having somebody that's on their side like myself, who says, I'm here to help you. I'm going to go through the numbers. I'm going to look at it. But here's what I don't know. I don't know what the OEM special is this month. I don't know what obsolescence you have. I don't know what you really need to increase this month. Do you need your CP up? How's our alignments? Like, I don't know that information. So you have to share that information with me. And now we have a good partnership.
Hey, April, but the interesting thing is there's a puzzle within the puzzle there. Because while the OEM obviously has input and all those crazy things going on. How about the basics of how you treat people? How about that no advisor doesn't, he would never think of not doing a walk around, that's automatic. Russell, Tony, you're going to love this because I ain't no genius, but I've been into many service departments where the manager goes, all right, you're a wizard. You did all, tell me help my service department. I always go to the operator. I say, can I make your job easier? Oh, please. People are always hollering at me. I said, when somebody calls and they ask for somebody, say, let me see if he's at his desk. If they're at the desk, say, great, I'm going to connect you. And then say, he's not at his desk. Would you like voicemail or can I write down a message? It's like magic because I never met anybody that wants to go to voicemail. You don't know if they got it. You don't know if they're calling back.
We don't have voicemail. We don't have out of group for that very reason.
If we just are a little smarter about how we treat people, Russell, I swear to God, I'm not kidding now. There's a method to my madness. You've heard, some of you have seen my commercial that Paul Brobson did, the greatest trainer. I went 3 hours and 45 minutes for him and Thomas Cicerano. 40 people, nobody looked at their iPhone. Nobody wanted to go to the bathroom. It's because I'm nuts, but I prove to you that if people like you and trust you and you show you care, you can get away with anything.
Yep.
Tony, what other podcasts would you go on where the
Larry,
host
I have the
tortures
distinct
everybody?
advantage of being in a Toyota store. I am in marketing, and take that hat off, I'm also a consultant. I also have clients outside the store. So you know my gig. I run a marketing department at Smart Toyota Madison. When you talk about service, you're talking 7,500 hours a month. One of the biggest service departments in the Midwest.
That's big.
And then I'm out calling on clients and calling on dealers. None of them in my marketplace, and I work in a lot of different verticals. But you know, the service department that I serve and the dealership that I serve in marketing, it is just so overwhelmed with business. And you're right. They think it's just they know we're here, and that's why they come here. And we do look at the numbers. We do the specials. I use Russell's tool now. We've been on working with Russell for, 3 months or so. And what's interesting about our specials for our service department, years ago, we got rid of our oil change coupons because we were so overwhelmed with Express Lube. You know, over 100 oil changes a day go through that place. Yeah. And so we took our oil change coupons off our website. And boy, did we hear it from our clients. And we finally decided, here's what we're going to do. Instead of calling them coupons, we're going to call them offers.
There you go.
And we posted your regular maintenance at our full price. And guess what? People are printing out
all day
offers
long
for the full price, and they're coming in. And so do you need to have coupons? Yes. Should you call them offers? That's up for you to decide.
Yeah.
Now, because of the unique laws in the state of Wisconsin with regards to marketing, we can offer discounts, but if we offer a discount to one person, we have to give it to every person, whether they're aware of it or not. And so we kind of put up a gateway to get to the actual discounts, where you have to, if you want a discount on something, you have to submit your information to get through the gateway to get the actual discounts. And so I would say the offers that get taken advantage of most often off of ours, and Russell can look at the numbers, are the full list offers. And we're still busier than you can believe. So I think you need to have them. You need to go over them with your service department. And this morning when the calendar changed, every single new offer and coupon was on our website live, and the mailer hit their mailbox last Friday. So,
and what would be wrong, Tony, with hiring an extra lube tech too? Because I think the only thing worse than being too busy. No, I can find them, my brother. The only thing wrong with,
we've got 8 bays and we've got 3 on each bay, and most days we can probably staff 6 of the 8, and some days we can get to 7. But no,
Larry Feldman, Feldman. Call me. I'll get you all the text.
Let me say this. His oil changes are synthetic oil changes are $104, and that's not the only line. I bet it's 3 or 4 lines for every repair order.
Yeah,
$104 is where they start for oil change, and people are full tilt coming in on it.
Yeah, I get to work. I get to work at 5:45 every morning, and our service department doesn't open until 7. Most days,
they're lined up.
2 or 3, 4 or 5, 10 cars sitting in the dark waiting for that place to open.
Hey,
Wonder
Tony,
how-
can I
wonder how
hold on
scheduling
a second.
appointment works there.
Can I tie this? Wait, let me tie this in with what April said and what Russell said and what Kelly started to say. There has to be a modicum of thought that goes into this. Because the crazy thing is, nothing good or bad happens by accident. It happens by design. It could be neglectful design or it can be brilliant design. But what Russell did, Russell and Tony got together and said, how about if we change the wording? How about if we try it this way? But there has to be some conscious thought rather than, yeah, we got a service department, everything will be fine. It ain't fine. And if it's not fine, it affects everything around us. Brian Moates asked yesterday, how many service departments put conscious thought into a lot of what they're doing? They can't, because the GM, it's like I said, they're almost like, it's like an annoyance back there. But you can see, you put two thoughtful people together, you got an answer. And April Simmons it's Archimedes, give me a lever and I'll move the world. April got in there, she's smiling at everybody. She can tell you to go screw yourself and you're happy because she's smiling her butt off. So instead of saying, you guys are idiots, she said, what can I do to help you be better? But there has to be some conscious thought and then an effort behind the thought, because talking about it and doing it are two different things.
Well, yeah.
Hey,
When you look at offers, and I used to work for a website company years ago in auto, what was surprising, we were with a lot of dealers who had offers, and the offer side is interesting because people are looking for an offer, whether it's discounted or not, because it just doesn't exist on all the websites. There's lots of sales offers or sales promotions, and even those can be customized, but you should also look at teeing the offers to what maybe business you want to push in your service drive.
That's
You know,
right.
whether it's oil changes or something else. I mean, and there's no harm with changing it up every month and seeing what works. If you've got the traffic, you need to have some way to direct that to convert. And I love the idea of, just like with a lead form on a car sale, where you're filling that out to get access to the offer. But more importantly, you then know how many people are interested in that offer. And you can change your
But you also have to tie in with management,
Yeah.
and not make them say, well, I did more oil changes, it hurt my hours per hour and all that stuff. It's got to be a team effort. You've got to let people know that we're in this together, and what you do affects what I do and vice versa. Excuse
Well,
me.
the
Harry
other
looked
piece
like
that comes in here with these offers and these coupons is make sure you're using coupon codes and make sure your service advisors are putting those codes in the system. So I can measure how many leads I've got, how many people submitted to get this coupon, and then I can track that through to the coupon code with that particular customer. And now I've got very granular information right down to, and Russell's going to be helping us very soon, to the ROI.
But Tony, isn't it the flip side of the coin? How many people don't put their information in the CRM? You do it while the customer's there, you get it done. Then you got what you need to follow up. It looked like Harry figured out how to hit the unmute button. Harry, you want to jump in and tell us what it's
Welcome, Harry.
Welcome, Harry.
Yay.
First of all, you Canadians can keep your cold air up north, please. Don't send it down like it got cold here today. Larry, how much is it on the manufacturer building a better car where the service departments are better, such as Subaru? We had a Subaru store, Volkswagen Subaru combination. The Subaru cars, when you look at them, they're there with 250,000 miles on them. People service the hell out of them. Same thing if you go to a Porsche store compared to like a General Motors store, where the product isn't kept that way, or the manufacturer doesn't think about the service. How much depends on who the manufacturer is, how good your service department can be, and how much help you get from them.
Well, I think the only reason I would take a counterpoint to that, and it's certainly a rational point, is the cars of today are so much better than the cars of 20, 30 years ago. They've gotten so much more elaborate and so much better designed, and it's so much more intricate. When you compare the computer systems we have and the navigations compared to a carburetor, I think the problem is when we started this business model, it was by accident you made money. If you did it wrong, you made money, right? The people were loyal to their brand. They came there forever what it was. I think it's more a matter of, in this case, and I could be wrong, I think it's more adjusting the people and the management than the product. Because if we don't understand and address, a couple of you said it, that this is a long-term thing. That if we take care of people long-term, the amount of money we can make off of them and their friends and their relatives is scary. Just like what a fortune it costs to replace people. Not what you pay a guy like me, but what you lose in terms of the customers in transit and all the rest of it. So you can always make that argument, make the cars better, but they're really a lot better than they were back then. The problem was, was that back then there were less cars on the road, right? If you were rich, you bought a Cadillac or a Lincoln, and if you really had a lot of money, you bought a Rolls Royce. There wasn't Lexus Infinity, there weren't 92 electric products. So it was more of a captive audience as to what people wanted and didn't. And while the markets have changed and the way we do business has changed, we haven't adapted as human beings, because you still have people that think, oh, I have a service department. Oh, I never go back there. There's spiders in the hallway. I mean, we've got to embrace what's going on. Hey, who haven't we heard from in a while? Durran, you've been very silent. And last time I saw you, there was no lights in your car. Hopefully you're in one piece. What do you think, my buddy? What do we need to do with sales and service? And then we'll jump to Wendy. By the way, Wendy, let us know if Fred showed up. We were concerned. Go ahead, Durran.
No, I'm here. This has been a great discussion. Now, are you talking about sales and service in terms of marketing, Larry?
Durran, do you think I know what the hell I'm talking about? A whole bunch of people show up as if my head will implode. I don't know. Just say whatever it is. You're always smarter than me anyway. Go ahead. We're talking about how we can tie in sales and service once and for all, and instead of having a chasm, have a bunch of people working together.
No, it's cool. She can speak, man. It's okay. Sorry, I apologize. My daughter was saying something. But no, what I would say...
Well, wait a minute. Put your daughter on. I'd like to hear her perspective.
Okay, sweetheart, what would you say about sales and service in the dealership? What's one thing they can do better? You got to say something. You're on the spot.
Maybe video.
Okay, that works. That's set up just perfectly for what I was going to say. She said video, ladies and gentlemen. So let's keep that going.
That was a great answer.
Durran, can we get her email and get her in on these links? Because you're a little unreliable and she sounds really smart.
She's brilliant. She's just like her mother. That's Addison@cageautomotive.com. So we'll add her on.
Right answer.
I love it. I love it. All right, Wendy,
You like that?
we got his daughter on. Your husband's still missing in action. This better be good, Wendy.
No, actually, he went to see Allison at Inkcentric in Chatsworth. So he's had a beautiful drive and got to meet Mike Landis. So great couple, good stuff. So in my opinion, the things that are happening are the same things that have been happening. And I'm thankful that we're continuing the conversation now. I remember when I tried to leave and stay home from work, and my controller used to drop off a stack of ROs every night on his way back for CSI calls. That's how we did CSI back then, and paper ROs. So the methods, the tools, et cetera, have changed over the years. But everything that's going on is exactly the same thing that's been going on. But what's most timely right now is we're being proactive. We know that AI is going to help us to work smarter, not harder. So let's get our boots on the ground, people in process in line. And to April's verbiage, or maybe it was Martha, clean house and get ready for the fancy tools. You got to have a good process in order to make it even more streamlined. That's
Wendy, the historical quote
with.
is, those that forget history are doomed to repeat it.
There you go.
I'm just going to add something there.
Yep.
I'm just going to add
Peter.
something. We all know that this is a people business. End of story. People, we're all about the people, and it's people, process, technology in that order. We got to build the people out. We have a problem with turnover in this business. It's going to show even worse coming up. So we have to bring these people on that we're bringing on properly with proper onboarding. We have to train them properly. We have to coach them properly, and then develop them into our technology. And that's it. The technology, yes, AI is going to be the saving grace moving down the pipe. But right now, it is all about, in my opinion, bringing the people on and keeping them on and investing in them. And that is through onboarding, training, and coaching.
Yeah, Peter.
Hey, listen, if you guys don't mind, hey,
Tone,
Tone, one second.
Go ahead.
I got this guy, David Brondstetter, who's such a gentleman. Russell reminds me of you a little bit. He's reliable, he's steadfast, he always has intelligent input. And he's come up with a way to help retention. You'll like this, April, by getting your team involved and getting them recognized. Don't go long, David, but give us a 30-second taste of what you're doing, because it makes the people feel part of the team.
I appreciate it, Larry, and thanks for you and Ian stopping by the booth today. As you guys can probably see, I'm at SEMA right now in the booth. Appreciate the invite onto the podcast. Yeah, a couple of interesting things that have been said. If you lift people up, it helps lift you up. Was one of the things that Larry, I think you said something along that line. And then, someone mentioned that, hey, dealers got all the business that they need. They need less of a CRM.
Till they go out of business. Till they go out of business.
Right. They need less of a CRM and more of a way to retain their customers. So what we've done is we built into our platform employee retention process that allows them to celebrate their employees and celebrate them through different events as an employee, whether that be getting a positive review from a customer, whether it be an anniversary or a birthday or an ASE certification, a promotion. So it's the opportunity to recognize these employees as, as I posted in the comments, when you don't appreciate your employees, guess what? They go someplace else. And if your service bays are booked up, the one thing that you should be concerned about is people turning wrenches and people, running for parts and people selling service. That should be your number one concern. And guess who does that? Well, it's your employees. So recognizing your employees on a regular basis should have a positive effect. And I know, Larry, you're not a big fan of the word culture today, but a lot of the businesses are struggling to define their cultures.
But David, now for change, I'm actually going to be serious. My problem is not with the word culture. It's that everybody uses the word culture and then doesn't put any effort into building a damn culture.
Well, you know what? You're absolutely right, Larry. And I said, one of the things that inspires me is helping businesses, making it easy for them to do the right thing. And this is one of those do the right thing, right? Well, I know I want to celebrate my employees and I know I want to recognize my employees, but it's hard. Yeah, it's hard because you got to go make, design a wrapper. You got to go take a picture of your employee. You got to figure out something to celebrate. And then you have to rinse, repeat every week. Well, we've automated that and we've launched it here at SEMA. We make it easy for a business to do the right thing, which is celebrate your employees. Recognize them for what they are, a key component of your business. They're the people who are putting the dollar signs in the bank account. You don't want to lose them. You can bring every CRM you want into your business to generate traffic into your showroom, into your service bays. But if there aren't people there to turn those into revenue, what good does it do? So
hey, David, that was a little bit over 30 seconds. I am going to have to charge you more than the 50. Just put the cash in the bag and give it to Ian. We interrupted Tony T. Tony T, it looks like you're about to be eaten by a big wolf dog. Why don't you tell us what you had on your mind?
That's my cat, come here. Say it twice.
Cat, come here.
Come here, come here. So two things, the problem isn't employee turnover. The problem is everything else that you talked about, Peter. The problem is hiring the wrong people, onboarding the people, and not giving the training and the tools they need to succeed. Turnover is the end result of all the failures upstream.
True.
And I often say, and I say this to salespeople, hey, if you ignore that customer long enough, don't worry, they'll go away. And it's the same thing with employees. You ignore them long enough, don't worry about it, they'll go away. So it really comes down to looking and finding the right people. And how do you do that? You look and find for those people before you need them, before you're desperate. What NBA team, what NFL team is not looking for the replacement for the cellar dweller in every position all the time? And so it starts by that. It starts by looking down the road. Who's the cellar dweller? Who do I need to move on the bus? Who do I need to get off the bus? And doing it when you're not desperate. Because when you're not desperate, as you know it, you're more discerning about the people you hire. So those are my thoughts. The problem is not turnover. It's all the things upstream.
Well, I agree with that to effective point as well. But I also believe that if we invest in those people that are having issues or challenges within their job, that they have the opportunity to surprise us. And the cost of investment is far less than the cost of replacement.
Absolutely.
Far less. It is, it's probably 1/8 the cost. So, that's a proven fact.
Well, I would say
So-
not just in dollars. I mean, the cost is not just dollars, but it's lost manpower of your leadership spending exorbitant amount of time with rookies across your dealership. And having been a hiring manager and having had teams of 10 or 12 people underneath me, the last thing I wanted to do is bring on a new person and try to bring them on right, because I didn't have time.
Hey, Tony, two things. Hold on for 1 second.
Yeah.
Tony is organizing a group with Paul Brobson of vendors who have banded together. And I promised him if he'd come on, I'd let him say a little bit. But before you say that, I want to throw one other thing in here in case we run long and we jump off. The person that introduced the program is Rhonda. And one of my inspirations is Rhonda, because Rhonda works her butt off day and night. Some of you have reached out to her. Peter has. She just always works her butt off and always has her eyes fixed forward. It makes me work harder because I got people around me that I want to work with and I want to achieve with, and I don't want to let down. So, you know, let's look at, they don't have to be Winston Churchill or Ben Franklin. They don't have to be Mick Jagger. If we look at the people that are putting up a serious effort, we can draw inspiration from them, and they can probably draw from us. Go ahead, Tony.
Right on, Rhonda.
Thank you,
Rhonda's the
Rhonda.
best.
Thank you. So thanks, Larry, for the opportunity to speak of what we're working on. This is not a me and this is not a Paul thing, but it's a we thing. So we're generating an association for folks like most of us on this call, and it's we've labeled it the Automotive Partners Association, and it really is for folks like people who are on this call, Mike, Russell, Larry. Right now, we're meeting once a week, and that is a clubhouse call on Fridays at 7 a.m. Central Standard Time in Clubhouse, Automotive Partners Association. All are welcome. And we're also standing up a website, which when it launches will be a directory for automotive partners. And the idea came up because there were some automotive partners in other rooms and nobody knew what they did, even though they were participating in these rooms, because they didn't have an opportunity to speak on what they do, the products and services that they bring to the table for dealers. And so this is not an exclusive automotive partners clubhouse room. It will be a website, but dealers are welcome as well. And so what I would like to do, one of my goals for this project is for us, vendor partners, to begin to build relationships with one another so we can lean on one another for all the things that we not only we do, but the skills that we bring to the table when working with dealer clients and others. So I invite you to join us on Friday morning, 7 a.m. Central Standard Time, the Automotive Partners Association. It's only 45 minutes. We spend the first 15 minutes getting to know new people, the next 15 minutes talking about items that were brought up by the new person. And then the last 15 minutes, we take care of business and talk about where we're going and the progress we're making to grow the association.
Right
So
on.
One more thing. We got Wendy on. Wendy is doing a terrific show every week. And,
Human side, yeah.
Wendy, tell us, just give us a quick pitch as to what you're doing and how you're doing it.
Yeah, actually, April's one of the co-hosts as well. It's just a safe space where we all bring our knowledge and pursuit of knowledge and AI together and have really exciting topics every week with April and Martha and a couple of other dealer reps. We keep it well balanced. And like today, it was about, well, I'll let April tell you if that's okay. It was fabulous.
Go ahead, April. It was very informative.
Yeah.
Yeah, you know, I love these weekly conversations around AI because, you know, as a dealer, we are always the last to know and the last to understand. And so ChatGPT, you know, people have asked me, okay, how are you utilizing AI? I said, well, ChatGPT, for instance, and I somebody today said they did a training on it. I'm like, yeah, I'd love to take a training on it myself because it's one that I play with personally, but I am scared to death to use it in the business. So we had a lot of different conversations around, how those things are being done, but then also how are we going to come together again, the human side from the OEM, the consultants, the vendors, the dealers with the data side of these things, right? So we started talking about the CDPs and how AI is coming into those areas. So we had a really good conversation, and AI, just like anything else, you start talking about AI and humans, it touches every aspect of every person in automotive, right? So each week we're trying to pick one subcategory. So today it was really CDPs and data, but we're trying to pick one subcategory to really have a person speak on that, and then we all conversate on it so that we're learning together how these pieces of this puzzle kind of come together.
Cool. All right, we're over our time. I can't thank every one of you enough for being here. It's just such a good group of people and so much fun. Does anybody have any last thoughts?
Hey, Larry,
Obviously,
can I say
yeah.
hi?
Yeah, Michael, I think we neglected you. So why don't we finish with my good and great friend, Mike Larkin?
Gosh, Larry.
Yes, sir.
Bounced off what April just said. The AI stuff is light years ahead for some, and for some they're just getting started, but at least start. And just do something simple, personal for yourself, whether it be an article or a blog or something that you can read over for yourself, and then, edit it, put your face, put your voice into it. But the sooner you get used to it, the sooner that you're going to be amazed at what other stuff is already here. Our agency is about 12 to 18 months ahead of the game when it comes to offers. So we're doing the emails, we're doing the landing pages, we're doing all that stuff with a press of a button. And it blew my mind. So that's what inspires me on a daily basis, that not only the light bulb on top of somebody's head, but I want to see their mind blown. Yeah. And that's
Michael, I just got a text from Wendy that's the ugliest hat she's ever seen in her life.
No, it's the peg it's on.
If you don't mind, before we jump to the end, I love all you guys. Could we hear a few words from my boy Peter Smith, and then we'll catch up with you next week. Peter, what do you got, my buddy?
Well, I just want to thank everybody. It was a fantastic turnout tonight. It's always great in getting the inspiration from everyone and their thought processes moving forward in our terrific industry. We know that we have challenges, and the only way we can get beyond the challenges is to discuss them and talk about them, write about them, and read about them and learn from it all. So I thank for everyone for sharing their thoughts. Thank you.
Stay healthy. We'll see you all next week. Thank you so much.
Good night, everyone.
Night. Take
care.